Good morning. Do you have your coffee? Have you already had a busy morning? You just dragging yourself out of bed, laying around? Whatever it is, welcome. And whatever time of the day it is, good morning. I love coffee. So, what are we going to talk about today? Let's talk about being genuine. One of the things that I've noticed in my youth, and I've noticed with clients, is that so this foundation, I think I mentioned, maybe I didn't, that I'm filling that empty jar up with some makeup that I had in my stash, Rimmel Stay Matte, and I had a porcelain and an ivory. Porcelain was too light, ivory is just about right, but when I mixed them together in this jar, I'm pretty happy with it. I put a little extra moisturizer on this morning, that CeraVe in the big jar, because this is thick makeup, but it's not real moisturizing. Just wanted to mention that in case you're putting your makeup on with me. And it's a pretty good coverage. You just have to make sure that your pores are filled, because it's thick enough that it might not fill all the pores just right. It might skim over them. I don't know if you can tell. See how it won't fill the pores unless you kind of push it in there. But once you do, I gotta say, this makeup has a pretty good performance for all day wear. Okay, back to being genuine. So when I was young, I used to try to impress people, or maybe I didn't even try. It just came automatic without me even thinking. I think that's the worst part, is I didn't even know what I was doing. But what I would do is I would meet someone and I could tell, or I thought I could, how they wanted to receive me or how they wanted me to treat them. And I would oblige. And then when I'd finally get tired of it and be my real self, or kind of accidentally reveal my real self over time, they didn't like me. Or they didn't like this pretend person. And I was just, I wasn't trying hard enough, so I try harder. And then I'd feel resentment because I didn't get my way. So I wasn't ever really genuinely myself. I was this hodgepodge of almost myself. Does that make sense? Well, turns out that a lot of people are like that, including with their own kids, especially parents who are trying to make up for the childhood they didn't have. So they'll swallow their pride, they'll swallow their anger or disappointment. They won't have the conversations. They open their wallet wide open, different things like that. And they're not genuinely saying, hey kid, I love you, but I gotta love me a little bit better, a little bit more, and quit giving in. Well, it looks okay. To all these expenditures, or paying your rent because you won't get a job, whatever. Well, I was doing sort of that same thing with relationships. So for me to be able to get genuine and know my favorite color, regardless if someone, I remember going shopping with this lady. I wanted her to be my friend so bad. I thought she was so cool. And we went walking down the street, small town, walking down the street, went to a movie, enjoyed that. We were walking back, and we were looking in a window where I used to shop a lot, and a lot of people, it was a popular store in town. And I looked in the window and saw something. I went, ooh, I like that. And she said, I don't like that. And I was just like, oh, I actually said out loud, well, yeah, I don't like it. And she looked at me like, what? She goes, wait a minute, you liked it a second ago. So talk about a lost little soul, right? Oh, those childhood insecurities of, that fear of abandonment, just wanting so much to be accepted. Well, now the process to get to know myself was kind of a challenge. It was difficult for me at first to understand that when I was letting people get to know me, they weren't getting to know me. And then I was disappointed that they didn't like me, but they didn't even know me. They were getting to know the person I was trying to be, pretending to be. I didn't recognize that a person is in the process of growth all the time. What I think and feel today may not be the same as what I feel tomorrow. The things that I feel really confident in yesterday, I can completely forget about today and have to start all over again. Like, I was just getting kind of tense thinking about those things, thinking about how sad it was that I suffered like that without even knowing it. So shoulders up, back and down. Calm down, calm down. It's almost like a regret that can sneak in. But my real self knows I don't have any regrets. God, it took me a long time to get where I'm at. And a lot of hard work, and I appreciate that. How about you? Right? It took a lot of hard work to get where you're at, even if you're not exactly where you want to be. So, I wish they had this a long time ago. They didn't have the internet when I was first starting my journey at all. And so if there wasn't a book at the local bookstore or library, you might be able to order it, but I think the deal is that if you don't even know what questions to ask, you don't know what questions to ask. It's not your fault, right? So I'm thinking, wow, there's these books that they'll say are for your grandma or grandpa to fill out. And, it's just full of all kinds of questions about your life story, different things you like, favorite foods, and all these things. Well, that might be a good tool for you if you don't know yourself all that well. And it's kind of one of the things that I did. I was given a worksheet by a counselor because I was having a real hard time building any confidence, because I realized I didn't even have my own real identity. And very, you know, that's how insecure I felt. It wasn't true. I just didn't see it. You don't know what you don't know. So with the questionnaire, I was able to kind of get to know myself and get to like myself and learn how to be alone with myself and appreciate my own company. You know, when we're facing relationship issues that make us feel really lonely and like we're lost, why be on the planet? Those are temporary feelings, usually, hopefully, but they feel very real. We can lose our personality for a little while, but sometimes some of us don't even know our personality until we really take the time. And if you're one of those people, yeah, let's just start taking the time. You're worth it. I was worth it. I just didn't even know it. I didn't know I was worth it. I remember when I first got sober, I finally had to quit drinking. I was finally convinced it was a problem. Finally. And it wasn't easy because alcohol had turned out to be my best friend. So when I started getting sober and started getting to know myself, oh my gosh. Oh, thank God I had a couple friends who were around at that time that kind of helped me navigate how to learn how to have fun without going to the discotheque. Yep. Yep, that's a true story right there. So as I got to know myself, oh man, heaven, especially where I could be home and not hear any. I didn't have a TV most of my life. I just didn't. I was hardly ever home young. I was either out partying or then I was building on my career. And when I'm home, honestly, I don't have to have any background noise, hardly ever. I used to have a really nice stereo and lots of music. And I don't even have it anymore. I don't even have a stereo anymore. I have my phone and this little guy. Kind of sad, huh? But I hardly ever listen to anything except podcasts or books on tape, or not on tape, audiobooks. So I don't know. I'm just blabbing. Okay, I'm gonna do my eyeliner. I want you to see this because this is what someone with hooded eye. It's not as bad as it used to be because remember I told you I had that surgery, but lots of wrinkles and hooded. So I just put my finger here, right? Stretch a little bit because I don't want the wrinkles in there. And I go to that top wrinkle, or that might even be the scar where I had the surgery, but it just dot there and come down. See? I'm gonna wipe my finger off because I'll put it back up there. Now it's up and stretched. Now I go to the top of that and come straight down. Woo, I just poked myself in the eye because it is not easy to look in the phone and do this. See, that's it. And you have the brush wet enough that you go kind of in the eyelashes. Just like that. See? Now I gotta get the eyeshadow out of my eye where I poked myself. Oh my goodness. Well, it looks like I was trying to do my waterline, but I missed it. Okay, next side. Oh, my nose itches. Okay. And two, if you don't want to stretch your eye out when you do it, you can just tap it like that. Just see? So you know where to put your finger. You kind of know where to then put it down. Ta-da! Very good. So getting to know ourselves genuinely so we can do it with a book full of questions and answer them, but not to be too hard on ourselves because we're always changing. See, I thought when I was young and initially going through this, I kind of had this little impression that, gosh, if I get to know myself, what an accomplishment that'll be. Cool. It didn't even occur to me that it was a journey, that it would be ever changing. You know what? I think that's where some of my self-forgiveness came from too, is that I started to recognize that, yeah, I made some mistakes. Yeah, I picked out some lousy partners. Yeah, I tried to be friends with people who were kind of abusive and shitty to me or to someone else, controlling, you know. I had a friend that would, and I loved her too, because she could get deep. She was intelligent. She had good conversations. And actually, to be honest with you, I've had two friends very similar where I fell in love with them. We'd talk like we were sisters. They'd even say, yeah, we're sisters. And then when push came to shove over time, and I was being very genuine and open, and then all of a sudden, it was like they would open up and tell me so-and-so at work, or so-and-so said I'm hard to get along with, or that I'm controlling, or that I'm bossy or arrogant or hard to please. And I would say, oh, I don't know what they're talking about. Instead of say, well, you do come across that way sometimes. It's just that I know you well enough to know that you don't mean it. On the lips, don't come clear over to the corner with your lipstick. I accidentally did that yesterday too. That makes you look really old. So don't do that. And then, once you clean it up, get some light powder. Yeah. See what I mean? Not in the corner. Make sure lips look a little... I know. A little plumper without plumping. It's just a thing. That's what I think. That's my opinion. Okay. Anyway, I started lying. And I knew when I was doing it. I was just like, during the headlights. Oh, I was scared. So anyway, I started being a yes girl and started getting nervous. I didn't have the guts to be able to say that. So then, when they started being bitchier and bitchier and bitchier to me, like one of them, we had this agreement that whoever drove got the free lunch. We went to lunch a lot or out to dinner to nice places. And you drive, I buy. I drive, you buy. Well, it got to be where I drive, I buy a lot. So I didn't have the guts to say it in a way that she could hear me. I know I said it once, at least once, but her reaction was so arrogant, like pretty much like, you're just lucky I'm coming kind of thing. And I thought, she's got to be joking, right? Like, this one eyelash is really outgrown the others so fast. There we go. That I tried to convince myself not to take it seriously. And this other friend that I told you about, she wanted to know if I wanted to go to Europe. Well, I had a whole lot of things going on. And I said, well, I really just can't afford to do that right now. And when I say I can't afford, it could mean cash, and it could mean time, and it could mean all of it. But it was a friend, so I just said, oh, I can't afford to do that right now. And she chastised me a little bit for it. Like, oh, you don't have enough money. So anyway, oh, and then this other friend wanted me to go to, I think she invited me to a trip to Ireland or something, which I always wanted to go, but I just felt like I couldn't afford it. It just wasn't worth it to me. I wanted to go when I was younger, desperately. But then when I got older, I was like, I don't know. It's a fucking long flight for a 1 or 2 week trip. And they were going to so many places that when I was younger, that would have been fine. And she was older than me. She just had all this energy. But me, I had changed. And if they would have wanted to go to one place for a week and enjoy the saunas, the hot baths, and all that, I would have given it more thought. But just like cruises, they're just too busy and loud for me now. Just so crowded and loud. So anyway, both these women, when they got back from their trip, said things like, oh, it's so nice to hang out with people who have the funds to do the kinds of things I want to do. Birds of a feather need to fly together. Seriously, almost word for word. And another one of them was, oh, and it was so great hanging around other women with the same intellectual degrees and intelligence and quick wit. I was like, what about me? Am I mashed potatoes? And she goes, yeah, but they have the whole package. Like, who talk about gaslighting? How rude is that? What? I don't know. Anyway, I was broken-hearted when those two relationships ended. There was a 15-year time difference between those two events. But both times I was heartbroken, messy heartbroken, that those friendships didn't last through thick and thin. I was sure they should have, but I don't know. It's too bad. So what I realized is, and I don't know if you can take something out of this or not, but for a moment during breakups or the loss of something, it's kind of like, I lost that. What's wrong with me? You know, instead of realizing they're growing in a certain way, I'm growing in a certain way, we're just not growing together. It's not like I'm stuck in my ways. And if you're feeling like you're stuck in your ways, maybe you are, but maybe you're just not giving yourself credit. Are you giving yourself any credit for growing even an iota? If you're not, think about it. Think about giving yourself a little credit. You know, we can't, none of us is perfect. And we can go through hard times, and it just seems like, here I go again. Here I go again. When does it stop? can make it so hard to think about the good things that are in life, the things that you do appreciate, the things that don't suck. Like, I might have some challenges, some fears, but when I'm centered, I recognize I'm going to be alive in this body and this skin for a certain amount of time. And this body has a brain that continues to grow and learn. It either learns old stuff really well over and over again, or I can push myself and learn some new things and kind of expand my neural pathways. And I also understand someday I'm going to die. Someday this party will be over. This pain will be over. This calmness, this beauty will be over. However I want to look at it. So how do I want to live today as a real life, genuine person instead of bending over backwards to please someone else? I don't have to do it out of guilt for making mistakes in the past, and I don't have to live my life to make up for my painful childhood. I don't have to live for those reasons in the past. I can learn from those things, figure out kind of how I feel where I am right now and where I might want to go, but enjoy this journey instead of focusing on the old journey. I hope that makes sense. I don't know. I feel like something's brewing. You know, do you ever feel that way? Like you're thinking about something, you just haven't quite scratched that particular itch. Yeah. I think it's because, this is going to sound so shallow, but I just thought of it. So, did you ever notice that your idea of interior decorating changes? And so you want to just remodel your whole living room or bedroom or whatever. Or I'm doing that right now with my yard. There's some things that I want to do to my yard that I have never thought of doing before, but I kind of want to do it. And I'm thinking, but that's so awkward because I haven't done it like that before. I wonder if I should hire someone to give me some ideas, you know? But the last time I hired someone to give me ideas, I kind of didn't know enough about what I wanted and what I had to work with that it ended up wasting a lot of money. Yeah, I don't mind spending money. I just don't like wasting money. So yeah, that was a tough pill to swallow because each bush and each tree that was planted either had to be replaced or died and seriously, it's kind of like if I had known what kind of soil I had, and the landscapers weren't that experienced, you know, they just, you know, okay, we're going to plant these here, boom. And you know what I mean? It wasn't their fault. I assumed too much. So anyway, now I have this new landscaping idea and I'm just not quite sure how to implement it. And I'm kind of scared to risk hiring someone or just, you know, stumbling through it myself. And it's a lot of work. And is it going to be worth it? Okay. Something that as shallow as this makes me realize too, my tastes are changing. And I'm changing, and I think that's very cool. I know I'm bambling. I know you're probably getting tired of it. But it'd be great to hear if you've done any kind of little things that made you realize you were changing. You know, it's kind of exciting, but it can kind of be expensive too. And I wonder what else is going to change about what I like and don't like. Allow yourself that freedom to explore that. You don't have to be the same. We learn through our old friendships, our old mistakes, our old trip-ups, our old confusions. It's a journey, not to sound corny, but kind of is. You're not really stuck. I'm not really stuck. You really are the boss of you. I really am the boss of me. And the more I say this stuff to you, the more it gets into the cells of my body. That's why it's super, super, super important that you think about what you're thinking about. Are you thinking things that I wouldn't approve of? Are you thinking things that you know if I heard you saying those things to you, I'd be saying, not to her, you don't. You're not allowed to talk to her like that, right? So then change it up. What is more appropriate? What is more supportive? Yeah, I want your brain to start working on that stuff instead of the old stuff. And that's what I'm going to concentrate on today. But I'm going to go have a bite to eat because for some reason I'm starving. All right, have a great day. And listen. Thank you for listening to me babble, if you did. Okay, have a great day. And bye for now.